I'm going to use the CDAC Map Viewer version 2 from NASA and the good folks at Columbia University to explore the population density in New England. And we definitely see a pattern in terms of southern New England, much more population, much more dense settlement, i.e. more urban. And we can see that over here in our legend. Over here we have maroon and red or dense areas, urban areas, and areas that are rural where no one lives are in a light cream or light pale pink color. In terms of where people live in these dense urban areas, typically on these inland bays. Now, they pretty much live everywhere, but where do you see the densest settlement, the biggest cities, or where we have these sheltered bays or harbors that have over time protect them strategically, militarily, but also protect from the tropical cyclones, hurricanes, nor'easters, all the crummy weather that comes pouring onto the shoreline from the Atlantic coast. So Boston, because Portsmouth, kind of this rugged coastline, also corresponds to the location of certain urban areas. And as we go farther north, like I said, we definitely get much more sparse population. We can see that cream color. In fact, there's nobody living here. You look at Maine. I mean, Maine and northern Maine, hardly anybody lives there. This is about as far in the wilderness as you can get in this particular part of the world is in northern Maine. You look up in the maritime provinces of Canada, whether it be New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Prince Edward Island. Definitely you see the population is kind of around the rim or along the coastline. In the case of New Brunswick, there are exceptions, and the exceptions you're going to find in all these areas where there are river valleys or rivers that come flowing through, and you're going to have them because the Appalachian Mountains are just up to the north here, and so you get the Appalachian Mountains, all the snow melt comes pouring down from flowing down the slope and creates these river valleys that over time have provided some denser settlements. But for the most part, we go farther north in New England, we get even more sparsely populated. One exception to that is Prince Edward Island, because it's a small island, also because it's its own province, its own governmental entity, because people like being from Prince Edward Island. It's actually very densely packed, and so it's very spread out. Now, it's not very urban. It's not like it's all red, but one of the things is this is kind of an interesting tidbit. It's the most populationally dense province or state in North America, and it all has to do with it because it's so stinking small. But anyway, so we go farther up to Newfoundland. Very few places in which people live in Newfoundland. If they do, they're going to be somewhere along a coastline, somewhere kind of these jagged little harbors or bays. Once again, a key theme. You're also going to find some river valleys as well, in which you do see some population, but for the most part, it's very scattered. And of course, here now we're going to get more First Nations, and as we go even farther up, the Inuit. And we go to the Labrador part of Newfoundland and Labrador, ain't nobody living here at all. Very, very, very sparsely populated. I mean, look how lightly populated. We don't see any red, yellows, oranges on here, and in this particular area of New England, except this one place, Happy Valley, probably not that happy.